Welcome back to another episode of RAD Terminology, and in today's video we're going to be looking at words starting with the letter D. I'll be referring to this book by the Royal Academy of Dance. I'm not affiliated in any way, but I will drop a link below in case you're interested in getting it for yourself. I won't be going through all of the terms in this dictionary, just the few that I feel are most useful or most important. Also, you may have noticed I'm using a different microphone today. This is only temporary whilst I get my other mic sorted. Starting off with the word côté. This refers to a step or a series of steps that travel sideways. So there are lots of different steps that you could have going sideways. For example, a balancé de côté, an assemblé de côté, but these will always travel sideways. Next we have déboîté. Now this is not an RAD term, but it is in the book, and it also is a word that we do hear quite frequently, so I thought I would include it. We know our emboîtés, which is an RAD term. However, déboîté refers to an emboîté traveling backwards. So in RAD terminology, we would just say this is an emboîté traveling en arrière. But in other schools, you might hear the word déboîté, which is exactly the same. Now, the next word can cause a lot of confusion because it has a different meaning depending on which school you trained at. So if you are North American trained, this will mean something very different to if you are RAD trained. And the word is dégagé. So in RAD, this refers to a position, not an action. And the position involves the working leg extended, the toes maintaining contact on the floor. And this can be devant, in second, or derrière. But at other schools, the word dégagé can refer to the RAD equivalent of a battement tendu, or sometimes a battement jeté or a battement glissé. And just while we're on the topic, I'll add that a battement glissé in RAD is a battement dégagé in the Cecchetti method. I would love to hear from you in the comments if you use the word dégagé in the RAD sense or in the North American sense, or maybe a different one that I haven't mentioned. Next, we have dehors and dedans. So when you use these words, because they are directions, you'll add en in front of it. So en dedans, en dehors. And en dehors means outwards, en dedans means inwards. And you might use these directions when describing a pirouette or a rond de jambe, for example. So a pirouette en dehors means we're traveling outwards. This means we're traveling away from the supporting leg. A pirouette en dedans, traveling inwards, is the opposite. We're traveling in towards the supporting leg. We could also use en dehors and en dedans when referring to a rond de jambe à terre. If the leg goes up the center and then from the front to the back as it draws a semicircle, this is en dehors. If the leg draws a line down the center and goes from the back to the front, this is en dedans. Next we have demi-second. This is quite an easy one. It's just a position of the arms. So it is not a second position, it is slightly lower, and the arms make an arc shape with the palms facing down. We also have demi-bras, which is another position of the arms. And this position is almost like you're offering something. So if you find your first position, and then open up the forearms with the palms facing upwards, this is your demi-bras, and it's often used as a gesture or a presentation. Next we have Demi-assemblé soutenu à terre. This is a long word. So basically it's a kind of soutenu where we have a rond de jambe of the leg. You'll begin with the working leg extended and the supporting leg enfendu. And then if this is a demi-assemblé soutenu à terre en dehors, the working leg could either start at the front and rond to the side before you soutenu, or it could start at the side and rond to the back before you soutenu. If it's en dedans, then the working leg could go from the back to the side or from the side to the front. The legs then join together and you perform your soutenu. A demi-grand rond de jambe is a rond de jambe of the working leg in the air at 90 degrees, either going from the front to the side or from the side to the back if it's en dehors, or if it's en dedans, it will be from the back to the side or from the side to the front. And it will always start in a closed position, and this is typically in fifth. Now, you've probably heard the word derrière quite a lot, and this just means behind. So this could refer to any position, like, for example, a coup de pied derrière. This would be at the back of the leg, a retiré derrière, or even a tendu derrière. The opposite to derrière is devant. So if we wanted to have a coup de pied devant, this would involve the foot being at the front of the ankle. A retiré devant, the working foot would be at the front of the knee. And a tendu devant, we would brush the foot to the front. Next, we have dessous and dessus. These are very easy to mix up. They both sound quite similar. Dessous, as you can see written, it is S-O-U-S at the end. However, dessus is S-U-S. Dessous means over. Dessous means under, and this could refer to a number of different ballet steps. For example, we could have a pas de bourrée dessus, which would be over, or a pas de bourrée dessous, which would be under. If we're going over, the working leg would brush from the back, come to the front, and then finish at the back again. A pas de bourrée under, so dessous, would be the opposite. We would start at the front, the leg would go to the back, and then finish at the front again. There are lots of different steps that you could have dessous ou dessus. Another example would be a glissade. So this is a glissade dessus, over, and this is a glissade dessous, under. Next we have détourné and demi-détourné. So a détourné is a turn on demi-point or on point if you're wearing point shoes, and it begins in a relevé going up into fifth position, and the feet switch as you turn. So a typical détourné will start facing one corner, you relevé up, then as you turn you swap the feet and you finish facing the other corner, having turned away from the audience. A demi-détourné is only a half turn. So you'll start off facing in one direction, you relevé up into fifth, you turn as you swap the feet, and you'll land facing in the opposite direction. Next we have développé. This is quite a common word. Most people do know what it means, but I thought I would include it because sometimes it can get confused with a petit développé. So a développé involves an extension of the leg where we pass through retiré and then extend the leg either front, side or back. If it's to the front, this is a développé devant. A développé à la seconde would be to the side, and to the back, a développé derrière. However, a petit développé involves the same action of the leg, but we don't go as high. So instead of going all the way up to retiré, we just go to the ankle, so to a coup de pied position, and then we extend. So petit développé devant would look like this, a petit développé à la seconde, and derrière. Then a développé passé involves switching the direction of the working leg. So for example, if the working leg starts at the front, we would begin our développé by lifting that leg up into retiré. However, we're then going to take the working leg to the back as we extend and close. So this would be a développé passé derrière. If we wanted to do a développé passé devant, we'd do the opposite. The working leg would start at the back, we would lift it up to retiré and then extend the leg to the front before we close. Now you'll often find a lot of steps in ballet can be singles or doubles. So I just want to give a few examples of some steps that can be done as a double. Starting off with a double assemblé. So we know what a normal assemblé looks like. A double assemblé, however, will involve two of them and they'll look like this. Next, you could have a double battement frappé. So a single battement frappé involves the flex foot at the ankle bone, and then we extend the leg and point the foot. A double frappé involves a beat before we extend the leg. So we tap the heel in the opposite direction, then back to where it was before we extend. So a double frappé to the front would go back, front, extend, and a double frappé to the back would go front, back, extend. When you go to the side, you will always begin the beat in the opposite direction to where it started. So if the foot started at the front, it would beat to the back and then front, extend, and vice versa if the foot started at the back. Next, we have some stage directions. So downstage refers to the side of the stage closest to the audience or orchestra. So if a dancer was standing on stage facing their audience, downstage would be in front of them. You could have downstage left and right, and this will always be from the dancer's perspective. So again, if you have a dancer facing their audience on stage, downstage right would be to the dancer's right. Downstage left would be to the dancer's left. Then if I wanted to do the opposite, which is upstage, this is behind the dancer. If I wanted to face upstage right, that would be the dancer's right, and upstage left would be to the dancer's left. So that concludes this video on RAD words starting with the letter D. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.